you know? So, okay, let's go defensive side now. So you said you wanted to go from like a 1-2-2 to
Well,
start,
yeah,
which
I like that because it's like it just shows like it keeps things simple. You can
super
build from there.
foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
again, as a when the other team has possession, so let's say full possession, I'm talking, or like close to full possession. This D has the puck, and I see he grabbed the puck, and his partner's here, another D, and if we like just to keep it real simple, if we send one, two, or three guys, that means there's only two guys here. They have three. Like we're outnumbered if there's a turnover. Now some people would like, and trust me, there's teams that have four checkers like this, and they don't care about the D to D, or they have a guy here. They might put two guys on it. Like there's all different kinds. But for me, if you want to understand the neutral zone really quickly, I think it's something that you could teach younger people very easily. You don't have to be super aggressive. You just have to actually have more patience than anything. So what this would be is like, and again, reading the neutral zone is if you don't have possession, you have to think defensively. If you have possession, then you think offensively, right? So let's just say this defenseman has the puck, and you're the first guy coming in. Like let's say you're even on a shit angle, right? So it's not center, it's not winger, it's not D. It's who the first guy is to put pressure on. So this guy has full pressure or almost full possession. I mean, so if we chase this guy, if the guy comes at him in a straight line like this, sometimes it'll work, but usually it won't because this guy can make one step this way to beat you, one step this way to beat you, or just move the puck. And if he moves the puck in any direction, you're going here. So you miss that guy totally. So it's about angles and it's about dictating the play. So if you're the first guy in the neutral zone when they have possession, it's about cutting off the lane. So here's the philosophy. Where do you want them to have the puck, the offense, right? So if I have the puck and if this guy has the puck and I'm skating from here outside in, then he's taking the puck exactly where they want to go and then exactly where I don't want them to go. And that's gaining inside the dots. I don't want that puck to end up here. What I want, so that's the first thing is where do we want to take the puck? We want to take the puck. If it's wide, we want to keep it wider. If it goes D to D, we want to keep pushing them to the bleachers, right? So this guy's got the puck. I'm trying, my drawing is just horrible. Okay, so what I want to do is instead of going at him, I want to take an angle to the middle. Now that might seem like, well, that's weird. But now if you take it to the middle and you put your stick in the middle now, he can't really make that play. If he does, he's taking a huge risk. And I would say he's not the brightest guy, right? So you take away this option. So now he's like, okay, I can't really move the puck in this area, so I have to go this way. So that's what we call the 1 in the 1-2-2. So this guy kind of just gets underneath him, not on top of him. You kind of get underneath him. So like if we do a checking drill, so I'm just going to change gears here. So if a guy comes out of his zone like this, if we attack like this, it's one step to beat you. If he comes around the net like this and we get almost underneath him and we force that angle to the wall, that's what we're trying to do to take away his options. That's what we're trying to do to this D is to take away that option. Okay, so now you get underneath him a little bit and you force him. You might even be behind him a little bit, but that's okay. So he starts going up here, you're going here. So what you've done is you've taken away half of his ice. Okay, so that's good. Now he feels pressure. Now, what's the next part of the forecheck? And it doesn't have to be this, but this is just an option. The next part would be to make sure that he stays on the outside of the ice. So the 2-2 part goes, your other forward would be in this area, inside the dots. You have your D inside the dots. So now there's your other four guys. Okay? Now, that's simple enough. Like the philosophy, I'll go into a little more detail after. So the philosophy now would be, as he's coming up the ice, this guy is almost in a straighter line, but he just works real hard to take away that ice now. So now you're shrinking this guy's ice to make plays even more.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So he's got F1 pressuring his back pocket.
Right. So now you got the back pocket.
And
then
F2
you got
cutting his head
him off there.
Yeah.
So he's thinking as you get older, is it a hit? Is it a stick on puck? Is it both? Right? Oh, I'm running out of time. I'm going into these boards. What do I have to do? So what we're trying to do is by the time he gets to the red line is run him out of real estate or not take away any other plays. Right? So let's say it doesn't work the first time. So we got 1. So 1, 2, 2, D. That's your 4 or 5. Okay, so let's say you're going here and he makes a D to D, that's fine because now you've taken angles. All you're doing is you're just switching your angles and you're still underneath this guy. These guys are still taking away the middle of the ice. But let's just say this guy does get to make an option. So now the next phase of this would be these guys are looking at, they're not just there doing nothing. What you want to do is you want to be on top of the other players. So you want to take away the red line or the top of the other players. So if they've got guys up like right at the red line, then that's your challenge is you want to plug that up. So you want to get more higher, right? So that, but the point of this is that you position yourself. So let's just say, let me give me a different color. Yeah, that's good. So we're playing the green guys. So let's say the centerman is here and the winger is here and the winger is here. Okay, so we're not worried about so if it goes D to D here, that's fine. We're underneath. If he makes that center play, this guy steps up. If he goes to the winger, this guy pushes, and this guy pushes and squeezes. This guy comes to the middle. This guy comes to the middle. There's no room to make a play. So this is where turnovers happen, right? But let's just say they're a really smart team and they can defend this a little bit, at least a little bit. Because nothing's ever perfect, but this is just about reading the game now. It's right. You're staying on top of these guys. Now, if you have these guys too low and they make that pass, now it could be a 2-0 or 3-0. That's why these guys have to that's what I mean on being on top of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, above them. Yeah.
Okay. Now, if the puck goes to a D to D, let's say they were smart and we were going for that forecheck and they went D, and this guy starts carrying, and they were smart, like we talked about earlier. When this guy moved the puck, he came back to the middle of the ice for a hinge, and this guy starts going, and this guy starts sealing it off, but then he sends it back. I'm real deep in the zone here. Sends it back to this guy because they're reading, oh, we're going to hinge it and going to send it to this guy so he can take off. Well, this is why the middle of the ice, you're still taking the middle of the ice, but this guy, this is his guy. So now it goes there, comes up the ice. This guy goes like this, and you got your one-on-one. And these guys just simply shift.
Right.
So it keeps it fairly simple. I hope that's simple.
Yeah. So okay. So let's do this.
Simple
then.
For me and you, maybe.
No,
I don't know if it's simple for
the
everybody.
flow makes sense, but let's take a step back. So let's just clear this off here. So I want you to let's use green and draw their team in a neutral zone regroup. So they're regrouping. So just do general positions. So we got a D, a centerman, a winger, and a winger. Okay. So puck's not moving. Let's just say like defenseman has the puck here. And where are the black guys? Just in coverage, basically. Let's just say where's coverage. So we know our F1, we want him to cut the middle. So he's going to be somewhere to initiate the first push. Right. Now, where are my other guys? Yeah. Where are my other guys to begin in the neutral zone?
Okay.
Just basic coverage, just so we can see where our guys are.
This would be, he's cutting him off. So we know F2 should be F2.
Yep. And who's his primary?
Inside the dots. Yeah. Okay, it's not outside the dots, it's inside the dots, somewhere in here, and you're taking away kind of this pass.
Right, so
or this skate.
So your primary thing is your dot lane, you're staying on the defensive side or above their winger.
Yes.
And your primary goal is either going to be to be the second guy pushing that D, like you just said, if he comes your way, or you're taking that winger if a pass is made to that guy. Okay, so that's you.
Away that and that.
Okay, so now other
F3 is here. So it's not the dot. What are we trying to protect on the neutral zone in our defensive zone? The middle of the ice. So if I'm over here, I open up this lane. So you're just clogging up the middle of the ice. So this guy it's hard for him to make an option. All he sees, it's his guy, but he sees a black guy there too. He sees this guy, but he sees a black guy there too. He sees a defenseman, that's inside the dots here. So it's like there's a lot of guys there. He sees a defenseman in the middle of the ice here. So when this guy's coming up the ice, he doesn't see a whole lot of options. He sees pressure.
Right. So this is our basic coverage now. So we have
Yeah.
F1, F2, F3. Well, the reason we call this a 1-2-2 is because we have one guy first, next two guys are in a line, next two guys are in a line. So that's 1-2-2. That's
Yeah.
why we call it that. So everybody's in coverage. So now from this, we can see the example you gave at the end there where how we're kind of overloading towards the right-hand side of the ice for the green team.
Yeah.
So if they're smart and they do that hinge, we can see
hinge.
that open space now on the far side, right?
you're
So now
saying
if we do the hinge,
comes back to this D.
yep.
Okay.
And they go out the other side.
So now it's as simple as this. This is honestly as simple as it is. He brings it back to this D. So this D is obviously coming up this wall. It's as simple as turn it, take away the middle, and it is actually this simple. Stay on top of these guys and go like this, 10 feet. Nothing else. There's nothing else to think about except stay on top of those other guys. That's it. And then if it comes up the wall, pressure, pressure, pressure.
Yep, for sure.
To the middle.
That's beautiful.
That's
so now,
all it is, man.
And that's like your super 101, like easy, perfect. So our F1 does the reattack if they do that hinge, whatever. If they some coaches, and this is where the creativity part of it or the strategic part comes in again, because maybe their D made a really nice pass across ice to their winger. It gets there quick. That's where sometimes teams will have that weak side defenseman jump way up or something, and you have to make adjustments that way. But as a general rule, like we said, just foundation, this is as basic as it gets. For on the defensive side of the neutral zone. And this is where, at the start of the episode, we kind of talked about the philosophy in the DZONE. This is where you can make teams really frustrated because what I like to do, at least when I think about neutral zone, is try to force their guys to have to make good plays, because they have the puck. So they're going to be running plays they want to be running. They're going to have guys where they want. They have the advantage when they have the puck. So we have to react to what they're doing. If we can put them in a position where their guys have to make good plays, so forcing guys to make backhand passes, forcing guys to make sauce passes, forcing guys to turn and hinge back and make other plays that they didn't want as a first option, that's where you can cause frustration, mistakes, turnovers, because especially at youth levels, guys aren't that good yet. So it's hard. You might get the odd really good player. Obviously, there's exceptions where guys can make really good plays, but forcing guys to have to make good plays can oftentimes result in turnovers. Yep. You get pucks and you can go back the other way, right?
Yeah. So the other thing with this is this is why I chose this neutral zone forecheck, because I'll give a couple of reasons. For the F1, for the first guy in, it teaches them a little bit about cutting off the ice. So for example, I'm just going to draw it down here. If you do, and it's fine. I'm not telling anybody actually what to do. I'm just saying this is why I like doing this for kids, for youth. If we go the opposite and go, let's say it's just like a defensive zone coverage, winger take them, center stay with your center. There's I find it less teachable. You're learning to just put pressure on people, but it's a little bit less teachable.
There's not as much structure to it.
Not as much structure to it. And that's maybe good or bad, but there's it's more individually. You're more individually responsible. And I find with a 1-2-2, anyways, in this scenario, I find that you can teach everybody all at once. Do you see what I mean? So what you're teaching, you can practice this with every person. You can have coach, and just practice cutting off that ice. So throwing a puck there and having the player come in and just cut off the ice and forcing up the wall. That's a really teachable thing. Well, why is that teachable? Because that's used all over the ice. When you learn, you saw me doing a drill this morning with guys doing cutbacks in the corners, and I had defensive guys there not really doing much, but I was also teaching them, you're not allowed to let him have that inside lane. So I was teaching them that angle piece to force them in certain places. So I like that you teach them how to force, and then it's really coachable, right? So if something goes wrong, you can teach all 5 guys instead of just one, right? So if the puck comes up here and this guy is kind of lost, or he's up way too high or he's too wide, it's a real teachable moment. It's so obvious for them. And it's just teaching them how to think a little bit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Because the other ways...
And you're teaching team.
Right.
Teaching team.
That was exactly the point.
If you're the weak link, it's you're the problem.
Yeah.
Right? But it's coachable. There's nothing worse.